Hi, James Lee Job here to bring you some poems by William Blake today. And William Blake lived mostly in London from 1757 to 1827, and he has this unique way of publishing his poems, which was mostly self-published. He did them with etchings so that on the page, I don't know if I can get this on the camera here, on the page they looked rather like this. And this came to him in a dream to do them this way, in which his late brother came to him in a dream and told him to put the poems this way. He's considered a seminal figure in the history of poetry and visual arts of the Romantic Age. And the 21st century critic Jonathan Jones has called him far and away the greatest artist Britain has ever produced. And he polled at number 38 on the BBC's polls of 100 greatest Britons. Let me read you a little bit of the introduction to... I'm going to be reading to you from Songs of Innocence, the collection Songs of Innocence. And the publisher's note: in 1789, William Blake, a London journeyman engraver, barely 30 years old, printed the plates of a most unusual book. The first of his illuminated books, Songs of Innocence, consisted of 31 color plates facing one another on 17 sheets, approximately the size of this present volume here, which is kind of a smallish book. And the contents on nearly every page, poetry and design, seemed to be strangely intermixed, so that one barely knew where poetry ended and design began. Now, in this format, it's really hard for me to show you these, or even to read the text this way. This book also has the text typed, and I'll be reading from that. But to see some of the engravings, I recommend that you Google it, William Blake, and etchings, poems, like that, and then click on the images, and you'll see some of those, and they're just stunning. They're quite beautiful. This is the poem that he even called Introduction that kicks off the book. And these are rhymed and metered poems. Piping down the valleys wild, piping songs of pleasant glee, on a cloud I saw a child, and he laughing said to me, pipe a song about a lamb. That's a capital L, as in the Christ figure. Pipe a song about a lamb. So I piped with merry cheer. Pipe, pipe that song again. So I piped, he wept to hear. Drop thy pipe, thy happy pipe. Sing thy songs of happy cheer. So I sung the same again, while he wept with joy to hear. Piper, sit thee down, and write in a book that all may read. So he vanished from my sight, and I plucked a hollow reed, and I made a rural pen, and I stained the water clear, and I wrote my happy songs every child may joy to hear. Again, the collection's called Songs of Innocence, and I do believe the innocence and the child image are intertwined. That is my opinion. It's not necessarily a fact. The Shepherd. How sweet is the shepherd's sweet lot! From the morn to the evening he strays. He shall follow his sheep all day, and his tongue shall be filled with praise. For he hears the lamb's innocent call, and he hears the ewes' tender reply. He's watchful while they're at peace, for they know their shepherd is nigh. Infant joy. I have no name, I'm but 2 days old. What shall I call thee? I happy am, joy is my name. Sweet joy befall thee. Pretty joy, sweet joy, but 2 days old. Sweet joy I call thee. Thou dost smile, I sing the while. Sweet joy befall thee. You know, I've left out something about Blake. He's something of a Christian mystic, but very, very much not fond of the Church of England, or that matter, organized religion at all. But he was deeply a true believer. And on his deathbed, it is said that just before he passed, he again proclaimed his faith and he burst into song. They said suddenly he looked really good, and he burst into song about all the things he said he could see in heaven. On another's sorrow. Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief? Can I see a falling tear and not feel my sorrow share? Can a father see his child weep, not be with sorrow filled? Can a mother sit and hear an infant groan, an infant fear? No, no, never can it be. Never, never can it be. And can he who smiles on all, hear the wren with sorrows small? Isn't that lovely? And can he who smiles on all hear the wren with sorrows small? Hear the small bird's grief and care. Hear the woes that infants bear. And not sit beside the nest, pouring pity in their breasts. And not sit the cradle near, weeping tear on infant's tear, and not sit both night and day, wiping all our tears away. Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. He doth give his joy to all, he becomes an infant small. He doth give his joy to all, he becomes an infant small. And a child shall lead them, right? He becomes a man of woe, he doth feel the sorrow too. Think not thou canst sigh a sigh, and thy Maker is not by. Think not thou canst weep a tear, and thy Maker is not near. Oh, he gives to us his joy, that our grief he may destroy. Till our grief is fled and gone, he doth sit by us and moan. This is called the Schoolboy. The Schoolboy. I love to rise in a summer morn, when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company. But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. Then at times I drooping sit, and spend many an anxious hour, nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing, and forget his youthful spring? Oh, father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, by sorrow and care's dismay, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? Or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year, when the blasts of winter appear? Holy Thursday. I don't know why Thursday is holy. Perhaps every day's holy. Holy Thursday, William Blake. 'Twas on a holy Thursday, their innocent faces clean, the children walking two and two, in red and blue and green, gray-headed beetles, Beadles, gray-headed beetles walk before, with wands as white as snow, till into the high dome of Paul's they like Thames water flow. Oh, what a multitude they seemed, these flowers of London town. Seated in companies, they sit with radiance all their own. The hum of multitudes was there, but multitudes of lambs, thousands of little boys and girls raising their innocent hands. Now, like a mighty wind, they raise to heaven the voice of song, or like harmonious thunderings the seats of heaven among. Beneath them sit the aged men, wise guardians of the poor. Then cherish pity, lest you drive an angel from your door. Let's read one more. A Dream. Let's finish with A Dream by William Blake. Once a dream did weave a shade o'er my angel guarded bed, that in Emmet lost its way, where on grass methought I lay, troubled, wildered, and forlorn, dark, benighted, travel worn over many a tangled spray. All heart broke, I heard her say, "Oh, my children, do they cry? Do they hear their father sigh? Now they look abroad to see, now return and weep for me." Playing, I dropped a tear, but saw a glowworm near, who replied, "What wailing wight calls the watchman of the night? I am set to light the ground, while the beetle goes his round. Follow now the beetle's hum, little wanderer, hie thee home." William Blake. If you've not read much Blake, I certainly recommend that you do so. William Blake was a huge influence on Allen Ginsberg, who is a huge influence on me. It always seemed to me that the chief message of all the poems of Allen Ginsberg was to watch out for your soul. And reading Songs of Innocence by William Blake, I would say the same thing for Blake. He's saying, watch out for your soul, protect your soul. So I would say that to you too. That which is in you, that gives you the light, that makes you yourself, protect that thing. And read some Blake. For the City of Davis, your Poet Laureate, James Lee Job.